Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 21st, 2024 City Council meeting. And Susie, we had a budget work session at 5:30. And now we're going to begin the new meeting. If you would, the real meeting, if you would call the roll call, Susie.
Mayor Case,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nakai,
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Here.
Councilmember Gear,
Here.
Councilmember Harvey,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Thank you very
Would
much.
everyone please, I'm sorry. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Council, I'm going to do a little quick out of order thing just to facilitate a need. Tonight we have Jody Mejeras from Community Partnership with us, and she has, I did a podcast with the sheriff earlier this week about some needs in our community for our Thanksgiving, Christmas season, but overall just some needs that we need to get awareness out in the community and help not only Community Partnership, but others that provide services during this time of year and all through the year. So I just would like to encourage you all to do what you can do to get involved and help as a council and the leadership in our community. So I'm going to ask Jody. She has some things to share with you all, and she needs to get back over and help with bingo.
Priorities.
Thank you, council. Welcome, Jody.
Bingo.
Bingo. Thank you. I did not mean to impose upon the meeting. I just have a gift of gratitude for the Woodland Park City Council members. We've had a long year of collaboration and working together to make our community the best that it can be. We did deliver a gift to Aaron and staff earlier this week, and we just want to express our gratitude for your advocacy for families in Teller County. Rural communities are really struggling right now with inflation and funding, and the nonprofits that support our families in this community are as well. So thank you to Mayor Case, who did work with Renee Bunting to promote our organization and the needs that our families are facing over the holidays. It's a difficult time. I'll just say quickly one anecdotal story. We have a food pantry at our organization, and many of the recipients of that service that we provide are two-income households. These are working families that are having a difficult time with inflation and making ends meet, and they would like to provide their families meaningful holidays. So we are doing everything we can do. We're accepting donations. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please reach out to our organization.
And they have a beautiful new website.
We have a new website. It's www.cpteller.org. We actually hired some graduates from Woodland Park High School and Cripple Creek Victor High School to help us with this. And it is state of the art, the most amazing website I've ever seen. And I'm not partial. So if you don't believe me, go check it out yourself.
Okay.
But anyway, just dropping by a gift. My organization is over volunteering at Kiwanis tonight with their bingo fundraiser event. So I'm going to go. I was not prepared, but thank you for letting me interrupt. And I have some cookies that thank you.
I'll keep them away from Rob.
We have a culinary chef on our staff. We have cooking classes and nutrition workshops. So she made these, and they're worth having. So happy holidays to you guys. Thank you for your service to our community. Thank you for supporting Community Partnership Family Resource Center. Thank you.
Thanks, Jody. Hold on just a second. I have chores. Council, I'm going to pass these to you, and then we can share with staff if you'd like. We're going to do this in front of the audience. Isn't that just really respectful. Thanks, Jody, and thanks everyone for allowing us to go off topic. That takes us to 3 ceremonies, presentations, and appointments. Item A is congratulations to Rylan Gibson on his Eagle Scout project at Woodland Park Meadowwood Park Sports Complex Hockey Rink. Easy for me to say. Kristen Higginbotham. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm here to introduce you to a remarkable young man in our community. This right here is Rylan Gibson. Late this summer, the city became aware of a young man in our community working to earn his Eagle Scout rank. Rylan Gibson is 13 years old and already making his mark in Woodland Park. Rylan is an 8th grader at Colorado Springs Christian Academy locally and a passionate hockey player. In order to be awarded the rank of Eagle Scout, young people are required to meet a few specific requirements. These include showcasing their commitment to the program, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law. Candidates must also earn 21 badges, including 14 merit badges in focus categories such as first aid, citizenship, and community. Additionally, they must plan, develop, and lead a service project, the Eagle Scout project, that demonstrates both leadership and commitment to duty. When considering options for his service project, Rylan found an opportunity to combine some of his interests and his passions. After attending a hockey game in Alamosa, Ryan was inspired by the team's national anthem tribute and wanted to bring some of that back to the community here in Woodland Park. For his project, Ryan chose to install a flagpole at the Meadowwood Sports Complex ice rink. With the support of local donors, including the American Legion, the VFW, and Greenscapes Landscaping, Rylan and 3 of his buddies who are here tonight, River Bassett, Colton Losi, and Colt Bodine, the team successfully installed the new flagpole, which now waves proudly over our ice rink. And I wanted to share a quote from Lord Robert Baden-Powell, the founder of Boy Scouts of America. And it says, "The real way to gain happiness is to give it to others." So Rylan and his friends are here tonight. You may come up to the front here.
Welcome.
This is our military calls them a challenge. This is our point. For you all. Don't give these away. Welcome.
He doesn't want to say anything.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah, job well done.
Yeah, awesome. Nice job.
Well, that was fun. The best part of the meeting. Item 3B is reappointment of Linda Allred and Larry Black to the Historical Preservation Committee. And Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor. As Mayor Case said, this evening we'll be looking to appoint Linda Allred and Larry Black, who are both on serving the Historical Preservation Committee. Both of them have completed successful terms. Their terms are expiring January 1st, 2025. They'd both like to reapply. And in my staff report to you, I said it was for a 2-year term. It is a 4-year term. Neither one of them, with the new charter that we did in 2020 when we changed the term limits and everything, neither one of them will exceed their terms. They're both eligible for this term for appointment. Know I saw Larry there she is. Linda is here as well, and I'd like to invite them up to the podium so council can interview them.
Thank you,
And-
Suzanne.
Maybe we could do Larry first?
Larry,
Oh,
Linda's up.
okay. It was the order I had it, so.
Thank you. Good evening, Larry. Would you just introduce yourself to the council in case they don't know you and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Larry Black, 730 Pine Street, Woodland Park. Resident of Woodland Park for 58 years. 58 years. So I have heritage that's beyond many people here, and a lot of it's in the data bank. I taught at the middle school for 30 years. I've been a volunteer with the Historical Society since 1982. I have co-authored 3 books on the area, Up You Past, Volume 1 and 2, and the Woodland Park book by Arcadia Press. I was also involved with the Centennial of the County with a video. It's a classic now, it's archival. It is in the Library of Congress. And I was honored to be in the Library of Congress in 2001 and recognized for the work done on the video via the representative of Colorado. In the meantime, I have also worked with Jody. I did tutoring of GED students for 7 years, one-on-one. I graduated 7 of them. They were trouble students or whatever, and they did get their GED. Right now, I'd like to go for the gold and do 4 more years with this Historic Preservation Committee. There are things we need to get done. One is the Roberts House, taken care of some way, somehow. The state says the building is survivable and recognized for the construction once all the outside additions are removed. Also, I'd like to have the lost building maintained and not torn down. Yes, it might not be historic in some sense, but I think it'd make a wonderful visitor center to Woodland Park as you're coming in, rather than tear it down and have a park there, whatever, long term. In my retired years, I've visited 104 countries, done many cruises, and been widowed 25 years. I have been proposed to 5 times and they were torn down. Maybe I just bend your ear. I was thinking, what could I share? I think I shared this not for the last group, but there's certain things that historically they're not written, and all of you have a definition of chivalry. Have you been chivalried? The heritage of the area. What is a chivalry? I'm glad you're here. A chivalry is a heritage of the French Canadians and the Scottish. And after the married couple are settled in a little bit, they get visitors. And these visitors are up to mischief. And as they're being, you say, well, we'll have coffee. What can we do? People are in the back, short sheeting the sheets, putting saran wrap over the toilet, unplugging plugs, doing all kinds of little mischievous things. But the classic chivalry, this is history beyond. Friends were married and they had to wheelbarrow the wife, the husband wheelbarrowed the wife down 24, believe it or not, 24 along the highway, pushing his wife down the center of the city. This is history, folks. It lost history, a chivalry, but this woman is still around. Her husband had died previously, but a chivalry. And then one more little tale. It's not in books, but in the 40s, a couple came up to visit family up here, and they said, no, you can't drive to the ranch. The road is horrible. We'll meet you and we'll take the wagon in. And so they arrived in town and got in the wagon. And with that, off to the ranch, a couple miles in, all of a sudden, bandits, 3 bandits came up. Took all their jewelry, all their watches. And here's these couple in the middle of nowhere, you know, what's happening? So they finally got to Aunt Ethel's house and they said, "Do you know what happened? What happened? Oh, we were robbed." She says, "Well, just go to the table and find your money and your wallet and that's where you're gonna sit for lunch today." Who would allow this to happen today? The world has changed, but this is lost history. And I want to keep it going. Then I'll end with one more, Mayor, and then
Great, you can keep going.
in town, at the Union. In the early days, they would take their horse in and have a beer or a whiskey, but to take your horse in, right in, health codes, all the things that have changed. But these were things that happened and made life go for these people. So these are all up in my brain and I want to share them with my committee because they're all interested in this. This is my heritage. So any questions of me?
Council, any questions for Larry?
No
It
questions.
appears like you're in like Flynn.
No, I don't know. Can we find somebody that's a little more qualified?
In like Flynn,
The only person that comes to mind would be Steve Plute. and I think he works with you.
So
Steve Plute,
or you what?
Steve Plute.
Steve Plute.
And I know he works with you all.
Yes, yes.
So the only thing is, I wish I had you for a social studies teacher. You would have been a lot of fun.
So
She
So
said,
I wish I had had you for my teacher.
thank you, but I did adult history for years and then it moved on. But I have students that they said when I go to the high school reunions, they say, you know, when you told those stories and I would share them with the parents, it was the most wonderful thing. My parents were learning from me, the heritage of what's in this area. So I get that full circle of life where, you know, the education was worthwhile. You never know where they're picking up on, but the area is really rich in heritage. For sure, it's just beyond. And I don't want it lost because some said, "Oh, you've been here all those years. What about the changes?" I said, "Well, when the horses were hitched at the post office in town, that wasn't too far back, folks, but the horses were everywhere. When the horses went, it lost a little character. When the paved roads came, it lost a little character, but it's still a wonderful place to be."
thank you, Larry. Anything else, council, for Larry?
No, I'd make a motion to appoint Larry to the Historical Preservation Committee.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Suzanne, would you like to take the vote, please?
Absolutely. Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith.
Absolutely.
Motion carries unanimously. And I'll do them
Larry?
together when we're done.
Okay, all right. Larry, I just want you to know and the council to know, we didn't pave the streets until 1994.
Change.
Yes,
And we're
sir.
still working on it.
The word was, why were paved roads required? Said EPA said, I forget what the fine was per day. Too many dust particulates in the area.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around. We're going to administer your oath in a minute.
We're gonna do the oath of office as soon as we talk to Linda.
Linda, would you like to come up?
You have to tell the same difference.
Thanks, Larry. I think most everything's been said. So I've been here since 1991. I'm a licensed architect. I've had my business here. I raised 2 boys here, both graduated from Woodland Park High School, both then graduated from CU Boulder. And I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I've I love being on the Historic Preservation Committee. It's gotten me involved in a way that I never expected to. Speaking of Steve Plute, he and I have been the ones that worked in the cemetery, the City of Woodland Park Cemetery, for the last 2 summers and restored over 40 stones, which was quite an adventure. And now, because of that, we're restoring stones in Park County and Victor and all over. We've just become the call-to people if there's a stone somewhere that needs to be repaired. So that's been fun. That's it. I don't have any funny stories. I used to have horses walking through my backyard, but they don't anymore. But it's a good city to live in. I would like to keep working on the committee.
Thank you, Linda. Any questions for Linda Council? All right. Would you like to make a motion, Catherine?
Sure, I'll make a motion to appoint Linda Allred to the Historical Preservation Committee.
I'll second.
Thank you, Council. Would you like to take the vote now, Suzanne,
Yes,
please?
ma'am. Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Gear.
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Larry, would you like to join Linda up here at the front of the room, and Suzanne will administer your oath of office?
We're gonna go
Please.
right up here. And you face the council. Or, yeah, this way. If you can, there you go. Okay. I want you kind of so that they can get pictures of you. Perfect. Come here, Larry. Right there. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, okay. Raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Larry Black,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park.
and that I will faithfully perform
I will faithfully perform
the duties of member
the duties of member
of the Historical Preservation Committee,
of the Historical Preservation Committee,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And we'll have you sign your oaths of office, right? For Linda, if you go. And then Larry, you're right here. I'll make a copy and I'll give them to Karen for your next meeting. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your service, both of you. All right, item 3C is short-term rental outreach for 2025 permits and licenses. Is that Karen or is that you, Aaron?
I believe that's Karen.
Is she online? Okay,
She's ready and waiting. I see her.
thank you. Karen?
So good evening, Mayor and Council. Very glad to be here with you, even if it is virtually this evening. So thank you. The city manager, Aaron Vasilati, had asked me to do just a very brief overview related to the outreach we have been doing related to short-term rentals. If you recall, a year ago, it was a very different landscape. We still had a moratorium on new licenses in place and an active campaign in the community related to the Citizens Initiative that was actually approved in December at an election. So thanks to that initiative and then a subsequent ordinance that City Council passed related to licensing of short-term rentals, the landscape and requirements around operating a short-term rental, especially come 2025, are very, very different than what they have been in years past. This past year, since those new regulations went into effect, we did get 3 new applications in for a new license in 2024. But we recognize with this substantial change that we needed to be proactive and reach out to the existing STR operators. So in the audience there is Rick Dieter, our zoning and code compliance officer or specialist. He was the one that was tasked with getting those letters sent out. And so we had 3 different letters that went out depending upon how the property was zoned. So those zone districts where the only type of short-term rental that somebody could have being a primary residence short-term rental, they got 1 letter. There was a couple of STRs within the multifamily zones, and under our regulations now, those can no longer operate. So they got a different kind of letter that said, come December 31st, you need to cease and desist. And then our commercial zones, they have the option of either operating as a non-primary residence short-term rental or a primary residence short-term rental. And so we advised folks around these changes and directed them to the Short-Term Rental Resource Center on the city's website to obtain a copy of that application. And we encourage folks to get those turned into us by November 15th. So we would have plenty of time to start processing those. Since per the Title V, the new license application needs to be in at least 30 days prior to when somebody wants to operate. That gives us adequate time to vet the application and verify that the property owner is able to demonstrate they will comply with the regulations. So that's where we are, is we're in the process of receiving those applications and processing those. We will be doing another set of outreach as we get closer to that deadline, reminding folks that have not submitted an application, that they will need to cease and desist their operations at the end of this year. And then I just wanted to note that even once somebody has demonstrated compliance with these requirements and gotten their clearance through planning and their business license through the finance department, once they are up and operating under those new rules, it is up to that property owner, applicant, operator, pick your term, to maintain compliance with all those rules and regulations. So that's where we are with that transition. So any questions?
Thank you, Karen. Council, do you have any questions for Karen? All right. Thanks, Karen, for that update. We appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
That takes us to item 3D. Sales tax update and report for September 2024. Aaron.
All right, I have the sales tax update for you all. For September, revenues received in October. And if my computer will cooperate, there we go. All right. Hold on, make sure I have the right one. Yes, it's right. Oh, it's okay. I didn't update the little side categories. Ignore those, please. This is September 24 received through October. Year to date, we are up 2.1%. So we're $132,000 over where we were last year. We have collected $6,374,000 year to date. And for the month, we were up a little bit lower than we have been for the year at 1.6%, up $12,469. Lodging tax was a little bit of an anomaly for this month. We had been trending down. You can see year to date, we're down 13.9%. But for the month, we were actually only down 5%. So they are continuing to operate, and revenues are pretty much on par with where they were last year for the month of September, which is one of our biggest months for lodging tax. And this didn't get updated either. So you can see that very hard to see light blue line. We're trending, I don't even know if you can see that, but we're trending just above for every single month except March for the entire year. So the revenues are pretty consistent, and I do think they're pretty much in line with what we projected for the rest of the year and for next year. So. And that's all I have for you on that. Any questions on the revenues?
Council questions? All right. Thank you, Aaron.
You.
We are on item 4, additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda. Suze, do we have anything?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Item 5 is the consent calendar. Council, we only have item A, approval of the November 7th, 2024 regularly scheduled city council meeting minutes. Anything from any of you? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as is.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes,
Nakai.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
thank you. That takes us to item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone signed up, Suze?
We do. Our first speaker, I'm not sure if he's in the audience or not, is Coulter Montgomery. There he is.
Welcome, Coulter. If you could just tell us your full name and your city of residence, please.
So I'm Coulter Montgomery, Woodland Park, Colorado, live just by the golf course.
Thank you.
I have a lot of notes here, as you can see, and I'm speaking to basically the outcome of the 2 weeks ago with the sales tax initiative, because I am a father in the district. I also grew up in this district. I'm going to refer to my notes, but I'm not a scripted person, so I might be a little scattered if you'll bear with me. But speaking as the person I am, the father of 3 children in the district and someone who grew up here, I graduated over 20 years ago, but I was a Woodland Park Panther up until my junior year, when I felt the need to choice out of the district for my own personal reasons. And it was lucky for me that I did that, because my experience within the district, at least into my high school years, was really not a positive experience. I was having a lot of trouble. And I was able to turn things around and have a successful end to my student career, to the point where I was not going to be a qualified person for 4-year universities, but in the last 2 years of really trying to change things and have that change of scenery from the district, I was able to have some good opportunities for 4-year universities. I moved back here 11 years ago, and I had a young family at the time. We're a bigger family now and older, but I had children immediately enter the school district, moving back here 11 years ago. And I recognize some of the same issues still existed 11 years ago that were even there when I was a kid. So my wife and I, we had to pay very close attention year over year with the quality of the teachers that we were getting for our kids. We have been fairly lucky with both the historic Panther School District and now with Merritt, but it's something that we had to be very vigilant about. And even before all this turmoil over the last 3 or 4 years, we were considering leaving, and we still are sometimes, depending on the situation. But this whole sales tax thing frightened us. I still don't understand why it was even something that was pursued. I've asked that question, that one-word question, a lot. Why? Because I still don't really see why the motivation for doing something like that. I think what I'll close with in the last 30 seconds is I really hope that things can calm down. I'm not someone that shies away from conflict, especially if it's productive. I'm fine with that. But some of the nastiness and the hate of the community has really worn on me. It's worn on my family. It's worn on friends that I have. So I really don't want to leave. I want to continue to be part of where I grew up, part of the district where my kids are growing up. And hopefully I can have more dialogue with members of council, with members of the community, and we can be less hateful about certain things. But that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Colton. Anyone else, Suze?
Yes, Arnie Sparnans.
Arnie, if you give us your full name and add town of address, town of residence. I can't talk tonight.
Okay, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, my name is Arnie Sparnans, and I live in the Sunny Glen neighborhood in Woodland Park. After reading this week's newspaper article on short-term rentals, it merits refreshing the council and the public, that prior to the Citizens Initiative, the city did not permit short-term rentals in any zoning district as a permitted use. Ordinance 1431 was the first attempt by city council to permit the STR use in our zoning. And that ordinance was repealed as a result of the referendum petition. This was the citizen action to address the community outrage to Ordinance 1431's Wild West approach to allow unlimited STRs to operate in our residential neighborhoods. That legislation did not address the number one concern about STRs identified right in the beginning in the community engagement process, community character. It was very straightforward what the community said. STR motels do not belong in our residential neighborhoods. This concern was never addressed in subsequent proposals. So after Ordinance 1431 was repealed, the council did put forth a competing ballot measure that was added to last December's special election. And we know that Woodland Park's voters resoundingly rejected the council's measure. Meanwhile, the public's concern was always explicitly clear. It was addressed by the Citizens Initiative Ordinance, which passed by an overwhelming majority of votes. It's not something new. It's where we should have started in the first place. STRs in primary residences only in our residential neighborhoods. It's simple, it's fair, and it's consistent. It's also the norm for dealing with STRs in communities across Colorado. Since last December's special election, many residents have been patiently waiting throughout 2024, knowing that when January 1, 2025 rolls around, they will no longer have to deal with the disruptive revolving door of strangers next door. They will once again have neighbors in their neighborhoods. They can take comfort in knowing our zoning laws will be consistently enforced. Residential neighborhoods will be for residents. The holiday season, was disrupted in 2022 by the urgent need for the referendum petition. The holiday season in 2023 was disrupted by the timing of the special election. We all look forward to having a peaceful holiday season this year and peace throughout all our Woodland Park neighborhoods moving forward. And so thank you and peace to all.
Thank you, Arnie.
Our next speaker is Nicole Brack.
Nicole whom?
Brackey.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sparnans, was the message of your message about inaccurate reporting in the article that you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
It's incomplete. It's one side of the picture.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Right.
That's how it works.
Welcome. If you'd give us your full name and city of residence, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Nicole Brauckley, citizen of Woodland Park. Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to address you tonight. I also want to welcome Councilmember Baldwin back. Glad to see you back here, and we'll continue to pray for your swift recovery. I want to briefly address the topic discussed at the last City Council meeting regarding the moratorium in the upcoming work session in January to deal with magic mushrooms and their legalization. This goes back to a proposition that was on our ballots in 2022, Proposition 122. It was accepted by Colorado voters with a 53% majority. However, I would like to remind the council that in Teller County, this proposition was rejected by a large majority of 57.1%. As we've just seen during this last election, this is where the citizens show what they want. The citizens of Teller County tend to vote slightly differently compared to the rest of Colorado. They rejected this proposition, and I know it's the council's task now to come up with a set of regulations on how to deal with this. However, I would ask the council to keep in mind that Teller County was against this proposition. I appreciate that the council is preparing a work session and that they've already invited one expert to speak there. I would ask the council to consider to invite more representatives of just different groups and different opinions to be represented during that work session. We're a community that has a large group of veterans. And as we've heard from previous speakers here during sessions, this is a topic that will majorly also affect veterans in our community. So I just hope that the council will consider that and just invite different speakers and representatives for that work session. And we're interested in seeing what the outcome is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Penland.
Jerry, if you'd give us your full name and your city of residence, please.
Jerry Penland, Woodland Park.
Thank you.
Last year, our Woodland Park leadership finally revised our ordinances to manage short-term rentals in our city. The new ordinance is what the citizens wanted, not a total short-term rental ban, but a common sense approach to manage short-term rentals. Then months later, a group called the Teller County Short-Term Rental Alliance with a few Woodland Park residents and over 40 more folks from the East Coast to the West Coast sued the city of Woodland Park because they didn't like our new ordinance. I encourage everybody to read the lawsuit so you can see exactly what this group asked the court to do. No restrictions on short-term rentals. Any house anywhere in our city could become a short-term rental. No limits on the number of people who can occupy a short-term rental. No limits on the number of people who can attend an event at a short-term rental. They even want no limits on the number of people who can occupy a bedroom in a short-term rental. There are more requests by this group to the court for relief, but you get the message. I also encourage everybody to read the city attorney's replies to the court, clearly showing that short-term rentals were never a permitted use in our residential and multifamily zoning districts and are not protected as a vested right to operate. Last month, this case was closed by the United States District Court for the District of Colorado. Since the case is closed, I was surprised to see an article in this week's Pike City Courier, written by the editor, titled STR Lawsuit to be refiled in state court. This article clearly seems to support the alliance, who apparently plans to sue the city again. Seems like their reason is because the city ordinance requires them to stop operating most of their short-term rental motels in our neighborhoods on December 31st. Instead of accepting the will of the people and phasing out their short-term rental motel businesses operating in our neighborhoods, they have instead spent the time they were generously given by the city ordinance to phase out. They wasted this time dealing with a lawsuit against the city, and now maybe another one. Will the Courier editor who allowed the alliance and their lawyer to rehash their old misleading arguments that proved so unsuccessful in last year's special election, will the editor give the city or even the citizens who helped put the ordinance in place the opportunity to refute the misleading statements in his article? It's clear that the short-term rental ordinance is what the city's residents wanted and worked hard to make it happen. We look forward to helping the city transition back to consistently enforcing our zoning regulations. Enforcement will result in a positive impact on our neighborhood and our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Debbie Miller?
Good evening, Debbie Miller, President with the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce. And while my residence, Colorado Springs, most of my time is spent in Woodland Park.
Thank you, Debbie.
I'm here before you tonight. First, how in the world did we get Thanksgivings next week? But because of that, that's typically the time that kicks off the Christmas season. And I want to talk to you tonight about Shop Small, Shop Local. And that's been near and dear to us for about 10 years. We have been promoting that. If you go to the Chamber's website, you'll see it totally revamped with all kinds of information about why it's important to shop small and to shop local. $100 spent here locally, 68 of that stays here in our community. This isn't just retail. Look at services, look at different things that you can do, nonprofits that you can do. Be very cognizant when you're out there this year during the Christmas season and think about what can you do. I was just told we have a fishing charter business that's going to do ice fishing. What a great certificate you could give to someone that's going to do that. Make a donation to a nonprofit instead of giving a gift directly to somebody, something like that. Think out of the box. We're truly trying to do that when we promote every week now through the end of the year in our Grapevine about that. There's an article in the Courier this week. I really, really encourage you to do that. It is too easy to pick up that phone, to go to that website that will remain nameless, but I see the trucks here in town all the time. Remember, those jobs are our people, our neighbors that we support. So please, when you're thinking about that, think about shop local, shop small. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, for reminding us. All right. Anything else, Suze?
That concludes public comment this evening.
Thank you. All right, council, that takes us to item 7, unfinished business. We have none. And item 8 is ordinances on initial posting. We have 2. Item A is an ordinance number 1485, series 2024 on initial posting, an ordinance approving sums of money to the various funds for the city of Woodland Park, Colorado for the 2025 budget year for the general fund 100 and set the public hearing for December 5th, 2024. Do you have any just clarification that you need? Otherwise, we just need to pass this for second reading and public hearing. Looking for a motion.
I will make that motion, but I do want to thank Aaron and the staff for a terrific job of presenting a document that even someone as old as I am could understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will move to approve ordinance number 1485 on initial posting, appropriating the sums of money to the various funds for the city of Woodland Park, Colorado for the 2025 budget year of the general fund and set the public hearing for December 5th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Thank you, council. Any other comments or questions?
Yes,
Yes.
Aaron, I would jump on Carol's back and say the same thing. Great job
Yeah.
preparing the budget. Really great job.
Same here.
And I'll say it's the easiest budget season I've done since I've been up here.
Way to go, Aaron. You're our hero.
We're not there yet.
All right, Suze, would you like to call the
Absolutely.
question, please?
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Item B is the ordinance 1486, which says the same thing, except for this is for all the rest of the funds other than the general fund. And set the public hearing for December 5th.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1486, series 2024 on initial posting as written to set the public hearing December 5th of 2024.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anything else, council, on this item? Suze?
Thank you. Harvey,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Gear.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. That's item 9 is public hearings, and we do not have any public hearings this evening, nor do we have any new business in item 10. Item 11 takes us to reports. Mayor's report. I would just like to ask and bring to the community's attention again on behalf of Suze and the staff that we are putting together a charter review committee for work to, let's see, will that go to the April 26th ballot? What is your
Yeah,
plan
And
there?
I'm going to report on that.
Okay,
in a bit.
thank you.
Well, not report on it, but talk about it.
All right. So we're just looking for citizens to take an interest and engage in the community. This is an amazing opportunity to learn about our charter and really understand it and see if there's things that need to be updated, modernized, cleaned up, those kinds of things. And maybe we need to do business a little different in some areas. So please consider that and reach out to our city clerk if you're interested in joining that committee. PPACG, we are doing a legislative roundtable on December 9th at PPACG's conference room. We are going to be having our lobbyist, the city of Fountain, the city of Monument, and of course, us from the city of Woodland Park. And I've invited our Senator Baisley and our representative, Ms. Stephanie Luck, to join us if they can. And so that will be that day at 3 p.m. for an hour. So we're looking forward to kind of getting ready for a whopping legislative session next year. So that's all I have today. Catherine.
I don't have anything except to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Here's what I have.
Terry.
A new hip.
What did he say?
HIPAA. HIPAA. And I already passed this compliment on to those that were involved, but I did want to shout out Parks and Rec with the very successful first season of flag football. I coincidentally, one of the rehab people that came to my house had a son that played. Not only he went to the Springs to play one year, he went somewhere else to play another year and came here and was pleasantly surprised at how well run the program was. So good job, Parks and Rec. I also wanted to shout out to Kip Wiley because he's wrapping up the street projects. Is Larry still here? No. The street projects, and I think it's been quite a challenge, and I think he's doing a great job. And Saturday, right? Saturday? Okay. All right. Also here, so being out and having the surgery, I had never had any reason to contact the Teller Senior Coalition, but oh my gosh, have they got everything that you need? Rides, meals. They have handyman or women people that can come to your house and put grab bars in your showers. Not that I got one, but and I asked one of the drivers, how is this funded? And he explained, but you guys got perfect volunteer opportunities. They offer so much. The other shout out is to UC Health, Pikes Peak Regional up here. That is an incredible blessing to our community. Every interaction I've had with anybody on any level in that facility has been top notch. So I'm shouting out to my my recovery room nurses who almost killed me, the physical therapists that came to see me on the floor, the nurses on the floor, and I sincerely mean thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, thank you, Councilmember Smith and Gear, and to our city manager and city clerk for reaching out to check in on me. Thanks.
Thank you, Terry. Jeff?
All right, lots of updates from Parks and Rec. So we'll start with the Ute Pass Cultural Center. We have a Smarty Pints Trivia Night tomorrow, November 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. Event entry is free. There will be a food truck and the bar there will be open and prizes will be available to be won. New Year's Eve, the last disco of 2024 is on December 31st from 7 p.m. 21 and older, there will be a DJ, food all night, prizes every hour, tickets available now, and watch out for coupon discounts. Woodland Park Aquatic Center, Parents Night Out is coming on December 20th from 6 to 10 p.m. For 6 to 14-year-olds, there'll be activities, games, and pizza. Parents take a break or use this time for last-minute shopping. The Art Cabin, decorate a wooden laser cut gingerbread house. Adults for December 13th, 6 to 8 p.m. and parents and children on December 14th, 10 a.m. to noon. And then there'll also be a holiday candle making workshop December 18th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Youth sports registration, hockey skills and drills for kindergarten to 8th grade, boys and girls. Deadline to register is December 3rd. Late registration deadline is December 18th. Youth basketball, 1st and 2nd grade, boys and girls. Deadline to register is December 16th. Late registration is December 27th. Youth basketball, 5 to 6 and 7th to 8th grade boys. Deadline to register is December 16th. Late registration deadline is December 27th. And lastly, for special events, Winter Day in the Park and the city tree lighting is on December 6th from 3:30 to 6 p.m. in Memorial Park. We'll have a petting zoo, candy cane lane, and candy shoot, Santa, hot chocolate and cookies, elf scramble, crafts, and WPHS madrigals will be there. And the event is free. And that is all for me.
Thank you. Karen?
A couple things. Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee met last week, and aside from finalizing their expenditures or their budget for next year, talked about sponsoring 2 cleanups for the city next year in 2025. And we'll figure out how we're gonna do that. We had great turnout for the one thing up this year, and shout out to Charis Bible College in particular, a great turnout from their folks. And then we're also gonna try to reestablish what we call the Young Ambassadors Program with the school district for the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee, and more to follow on that. In outreach for veterans, on the 11th, of course, we had a wonderful ceremony or service at the high school for veterans on the 11th. Also on the 11th, I was invited to speak on behalf of the city council at Colorado Springs Christian School Satellite up here, and that was, I thoroughly enjoyed that event. Great turnout, had a breakfast there for the family or children's families who were also veterans. And then there was the dinner at UPass Cultural Center on the evening of the 11th. I understand that was standing room only, and the shout out, I think, is gonna go to Roy's Barbecue for that, Walmart, and I think there was Grandma's Kitchen. Yeah, understand. I did not attend that one, but I understand that was a great turnout, and I thank all those who were involved with that.
Largest turnout ever, according to
Really?
Dan.
Oh,
Yeah.
good deal. At our house, the 11th is always Marine Corps Ball Recovery Day, so we did not attend that one. Then on the 12th, Mayor Case and myself, as well as city manager and previous city manager David Buttery, had lunch with the battalion commander for the 4th Engineer Battalion from Fort Carson and his ops NCO. And we are diligently working towards reestablishing the relationship with that battalion. I think we're going to have them participate in the parade.
That's the hope, yes.
And who knows what kind of equipment they'll bring, but it will be impressive, I'm sure. But looking forward to reestablishing. Yeah, yeah, who knows what it'll be.
He
Anyway,
said this time may not be the biggest showing, but wait till next year.
there you go. And we also invited them to bring their equipment and vehicles to the Touch a Truck Day. So that will happen next year. And that's all I have.
Can we fire some of that stuff off?
We fire off a lot of stuff.
Thank you, Carol. George?
Actually, I have nothing to report. I'd like what Catherine said. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody and hope everybody has a safe holiday.
Thank you. Smitty?
Actually, I do.
Oh, thrilled.
There we go. Well, I have heard a couple of people here tonight about taking care of our community, especially the families that are in need and such. And I would like to throw out an attaboy or, thing to the UPass Masonic Lodge. Every year, every meeting, they have a dinner before their meeting. And there's a donation basket. And all the monies collected through the whole year are put aside for the community cupboard. And this past Tuesday, they presented a $700 check to the community cupboard to help our community out.
That's great, Smitty.
So I'd like to throw that out there.
That's great. Thanks for sharing.
That's all I got.
Thank you. So I was lax in my duties earlier, so I was gonna mention the luncheon because I had forgotten to mention that, but I'm glad you did, Carol. It really was your place. Community events, November 21st through December 5th. And Jeff shared some, but I don't see a repetition here. Tomorrow night, Friday the 22nd, the UPass Cultural Center, the Rampart Library District I can't talk tonight, brings you Smarty Pints Trivia Night. As he just shared with us, this family friend game will be holiday themed and fun for all generations. Doors open at 5:30 with the trivia starting at 6. The UPass Cultural Center bar will be open with Prime Kitchen food truck serving food and prizes for first, second, and third place. Second, we have the holidays are fast approaching and the City of Woodland Park is partnering with Community Partnership for this year's food and toy drive. All donations are for the benefit of Teller County families and can be dropped off at City Hall, first floor, until December 17th. Please see our flyer for details, and I believe that's on our website. Yes, thank you. On December 5th, from 11:30 to 1 at the Ute Pass Cultural Center, the Greater Woodland Park Chamber will be hosting a Lunch and Learn series event. This month's topic is Where's the Money? That was, do you remember Where's the Beef? Wendy's? Yeah, that always reminds me of that. Funding options for starting and growing your business. Registration is required and more details can be found on the Chamber's website. That's all I have. City Attorney?
Nothing from me.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Do you have anything clean to share with us?
me?
Yeah. I know that's a silly question, but I thought maybe you'd have a clean joke to
A
tell.
priest, a minister, and a rabbit walked into a blood bank. And the rabbit says, I think I'm a type O. See, that's kind of deep. Okay? Think about it.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Aaron?
How does someone follow that? I don't.
I know.
How we're gonna do it.
We can change the seating arrangement in the future if you
Might
like.
have to. I do want to remind the community that the Citizens Academy is coming back starting in January, and we are accepting applications through Friday, December 20th. So if you've not applied and you're interested, please go ahead and get that application in. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. So go ahead and do that. I'd also like to address some of the public comments we heard at the last meeting regarding the financial documents on the city website. We have taken a deep look at those and made sure that all of those are up to date now. So we do apologize for the oversight there, but everything is up to date. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or staff. Thank you. And then I think Suzanne is going to give a couple updates.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. As Mayor Case mentioned, we are seeking volunteers for the Charter Review Committee, and the applications are due December 19th. The hope is that we would get applications from citizens interested, and that January 2nd, at that council meeting, we would administer their oaths of office, and then we can get to work. The committee will be made up of myself, the city attorney, the city manager, 2 council members, and we would, in a perfect world, 2 to 4 citizens. And so be thinking about it, council, if there's anything you'd like to bring to Aaron and I to our attention that you would like us to look at in the charter. We would get input from the council. There's input from the staff. There's staff that, you know, we have ideas too of what we'd like to see in the charter changed, if anything. And then we'd love the input from the citizens as well to see if there's anything out there that they'd like to change. A couple of years ago, we had one election. It was in 2020. We brought 11 charter amendments to the council for the ballot. And then in 2022, we brought 3 or 4, did I tell you? 3? We brought 3 charter amendments to the council for the ballot in 2022. So we don't have to bring any. We don't have to change a thing. We can just take a peek at it, and you may decide you don't want to do anything, or you may take a peek at it and the charter committee will give you a whole list of things they come up with, and council gets to decide what will go on the ballot. It's not the charter committee that makes the decision. You guys ultimately make the decision. It's a recommendation from the charter committee. So we have that. Second, some of my council members have asked me for some statistics. I don't have a lot of statistics yet, but some of you have asked me for statistics on the Teller County election pertaining to Woodland Park. Today, the election at 2:30 was officially canvassed. I've gotten a notification from the Teller County Clerk and Recorder, Stephanie Keys. So it is done. It is official. The numbers are as stands. But for the city of Woodland Park, many of you have asked us, the city of Woodland Park, 6,180 ballots were mailed to our residents in this community. Then there were, for the ambulance question, because people asked how it compared, how many were mailed to the city for 2A, and then how many were mailed to the residents for 7A, which was the ambulance question. That was 15,516 ballots. So that's how it was divvied up. And so for us, it was 6,180 ballots, which was significantly more ballots than we sent out in our last election. So I will be looking with the clerk and recorder to see why there was such an increase in the list. Because I think we did 5,800 about for our election, and so this was significantly higher. So we're gonna just take a peek at that. So those were the facts that you wanted for that. And I wanted to just say kudos to Christy Huber. She is the one that does all of the work for the community partnership for the food drive. She does it all on her after hours. As a matter of fact, the other night I just chuckled. She wrote an email to the staff saying that we're doing a food drive, we're doing a toy drive, and she waited until 5 o'clock when she was off work because she clearly delineates this as volunteer time. The email came to us at 5:08. So it was clear to the whole staff she was not doing this on city time, but she does all of this as a volunteer, collects all the food, collects all of the toys. She delivers them. She makes a couple of trips. And so I just wanted to thank her for doing that for the community partnership and the community. That's all I have.
Thank you, Suze. She's a great lady.
Yes.
Well, with that, we are adjourned.